Hey, what's going on? Well, we don't have any weddings or any other events coming up this weekend, so I thought, you know what, it'd be a great weekend to do a rerun gig log. And really, this is not really a gig log because this gig took place before I actually started doing gig logs. This is actually 10 years old, and I thought with this year marking the 10th anniversary of my DJ service, why not showcase one of my earlier gigs, one of the very first ones I ever did, so you can compare what my setup looked like then to what it looks like now. And it's really changed quite a bit, as you will notice. Now, this was a gig that took place on November 1st, 2003. It was a high school homecoming dance, and I look back at it now and I'm like, you know what, I know that I would have done a lot of things differently if I could get into DeLorean and go back to that time. But this is before we had LED lights, at least before I had LED lights. I mean, they were around back then, but I didn't have them. And all I had for a light show was a couple derby lights that I used, and also a roto light that I used for slow dances, and a strobe, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I was just starting out, and so we don't really have a real big light show for this particular event. But I look back at it, you know, there were a lot of things I could have done differently. For instance, you'll notice that the wires were hanging over the front of the table. But again, at that point in time, I was just learning. So, you know, I thought it'd be kind of neat to take a look at that. You'll also get to see me and see what I look like back 10 years ago when I was 28 years old. So take a look at that. Now, you'll see a female that's in the video as well that'll be kind of narrating. That was my older sister. She came to help me out with that particular gig. So I think I even get her in a couple of scenes, but then she also does some filming of me emceeing. But anyway, you'll notice we didn't have any light stands, and you know, we had the lights there on the table. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this video roll, just let you see it, and we'll compare it, and I'll do a little wrap for it as soon as it's over with. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I have not been able to figure out how to rip the video off of the DVD from the computer, so I'm just going to turn the camera around and just let it play right off the monitor. So anyway, it's still good quality, and you'll still get to see the gig log. So anyway, let's roll it, and let's go back to 2003.
Yep. We got everything all set up. It looks nice. I don't know how to work this back and forth stuff. Go ahead. He looks so nice in the suit. We got everything all set up. Music's got 10 minutes to start.
So there you go. Not really much to see at that particular gig log. We didn't do a whole lot of filming there, but you got a chance to see my setup and see what it looked like 10 years ago and compare it to what it looks like now. A lot of difference in what it looked like back then compared to what it looks like now. But anyway, just a couple things I wanted to mention about that. Back then I was actually using CDs, so I didn't have my laptop yet. Well, I had a laptop, but I wasn't actually using it for DJing at that point. I didn't start using a laptop for DJing, I think, until the end of 2005. So my first couple years, I was using CDs, so that was what you saw there on the table. You saw that big case. There were two large CD players in them, and that's what I was using. Now, that mixing board that you saw, that's a 3-channel mixer, and I still use that today. It's actually a part of my second sound system that I now use for wedding ceremonies. So that board still does work, and I still do use it today. And that amplifier is the same amplifier that I still use as well. And the speakers, those were just my regular JBL speakers. Now, I've got those still here at my house, but I haven't used those in quite a number of years. I actually got the JBL Pros. I upgraded to those, and those are the ones that you've seen in most of my gig logs. But in the earlier gig logs, those are the same speakers I was using back when I first started doing gig logs back in 2008. So I've had those speakers for a long time as well. So anyway, you know, you got to see how everything looked at that point, and you know, a lot of changes. And you know what, if I had a DeLorean, I'd go back and do some things differently. But anyway, that's the good thing. You know, we can look back 10 years and see how much we changed. I'm pretty sure that probably 10 years from now, we'll look back at all of our gig logs from now and say, wow, look at our systems from then compared to what we got now. So anyway, thought you might enjoy that. And next week, we'll have another rerun gig log back from 2005. So it'll be my cousin's wedding from North Carolina that I did in 2005. And we'll talk more about that next week. So I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, practice and enjoy.